Reveille.
Look at us now, tip to tip.
Jesus.
Oh. Shout out to Morning Kombat.
Do you want a margarita?
Yes! My God! Shout out to us, doing what we love. It's time to bang. Oh, yeah, you know what that means, right? It's UFC 321 pregame preview, right? In your absolute face hole. Welcome to Morning Kombat. It's October 22nd of the 25s, just a few days out from this weekend's UFC pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi. Brian Campbell, Luke Thomas, special guest this week from the Uncrowned and many other websites throughout the great history of this sport. Yeah. Sir Charles, the Iceman, Chuck Mindenhall. Great to have you with us.
I'm the counter Jed Meshew. That's what I am.
Yes.
Does that mean you shower?
Yes, that's what it means.
Hey, right?
Yeah.
Don't count yourself out yet. Oh, yeah. You know you're in your head.
What is that song?
Jimmy Eat World.
That's right, Jimmy Eat
Right
World,
before he ate ass. But hey, this is going to be a great show, by the way. It's Aspinall Gane. It's Jandiroba Dern 2. It's a lot more. We're going to break it all down. We're going to get fired up. But Chuck, I don't know if you've heard this about this show.
Okay, let's hear it.
There's some expectations that we would be real, that we would break things down with real talk, like men do.
Like men do.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'd like to say about timing, because now is a good time for this program, and now is a good time to remember, by the way, where tequila's story actually began. All right, let me tell you about it. In 1795, our good friends at Cuervo invented tequila, and since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, and the same passion. 230 years later, Cuervo, still right here, right now, in every pour, in every margarita, and in every celebration. So enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. ProximoCuervo.com. Please drink responsibly. And Chuck, anytime we get you in here with our friends at Cuervo to break down the big UFC card coming this weekend, it's always a great time. When I say UFC 321 to you, you say?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Show over. I guess we're done.
That's why he's the best in the world. You know what I mean? That's all we need.
Are we really throwing to me? Is that your tee up?
What are your thoughts? You fired up? You happy?
I think it's a good card, man. I really do. The main card has a little bit for everybody. We haven't seen Tom Aspinall for 15 months. I feel like we need that big reminder of who he is. And I also love the idea of kind of, sitting outside of all of this is guys like John Jones. You never know with Francis Ngannou, things like that. The other heavyweights that are basically have a say in this picture. I love setups like this where kind of the absurdity of the situation comes to the fore. So if Aspinall wins, if John Jones wants to come back, I mean,
or Alex Pereira.
Or Alex Pereira. That would, but that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of outside factors here, and I love when we have that kind of setup.
Absolutely. Luke Thomas, we look for you in these early pregame previews before the alcohol kicks in to get a nice grade. What are you looking at top to bottom on this card? Because I heard both of you say pretty damn good pay-per-view this Saturday.
Yeah, grade. Well, you got two title fights. Aspinall I think this is the first time the UFC heavyweight title's been defended in years.
In the full undisputed. Now, you can argue. I thought it was when John Jones and Gane fought. That was the last time, but that was vacant.
Right,
so you'd have to go back to Ngannou Ipe 2?
Yeah, I think that's
Gane.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Years.
Man, that's wild.
Years.
I hadn't
quite
thought
some
about
time.
that.
So you have to be happy about that. Gane seems like as good a challenger for Aspinall as you're going to get in this division. Maybe, I guess we'll see. Co-main event is an important fight because obviously the champ who was there moved up. I do love, we talked about this before, Long Island Luke and I were talking about it, the Murzakanov and Rakic fight. I think that one's actually pretty interesting.
The same thing about Volkov Almeida.
Umar Nurmagomedov is back now against an opponent who can be tough to look good against. So I'll say this. I'll say B. Now, that's a solid B given the circumstances where Aspinall doesn't have we think doesn't have a main rival. We've already seen the co-main event in a different form. Umar, who is prized, is up against a good opponent, but again, not one that tends to lend itself to action-oriented fan approval. However, Volkov versus Almeida should be bananas for as long as it lasts, I suppose. And then, as I mentioned, Rakic, Murzakanov might be the most intriguing one for me outside of the
we got a B. You got a B on the report card? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You end up finding out underneath it's a B cup. I don't know if you're as excited, Chuck. You know what I mean? You got to take me through your history.
Waiting on
These
you
are
on
crickets
the
again, or is
crickets
that-
there, yeah.
Just try your best. Yeah. Try everything you. All right, I'm fired up.
I
Okay?
will say the prelims on this card
Uh-oh.
well, it's a mixed review because it feels to me almost like a Bellator prelim. And if you know anything about Bellator prelims, you would watch them and be like, I don't know who the fuck these guys are.
But that man just died, and they wheeled him out.
One guy just died,
Yeah,
and
they
the next
would.
guy got paralyzed, and then there was the worst fight you've ever seen after that,
Yeah.
and then another guy got.
They
you
would
know
have
what I mean?
like 8 of them, and it was basically just short of like the crane game where they just pick
Yes,
the injured
yes.
guy up and they just take him
And
out
it's
of there
even
and wheel
worse when they
somebody
were
else.
post limbs after the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
card because
Oh
they'd be
my
like,
God.
they would just drag a dude out of there and get another
So
fight.
I think
right
there
away.
actually are some interesting ones on there.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. And Walter Walker taking on Louis Sutherland just feels like it's got banana potential all over it.
All right.
And by the way, Hamdi Abdel Wahab taking on Chris Barnett should be fun for as long as it lasts. There's definitely some charm there, but there's also just, I don't know, it little different.
All right. At least it's not nubs. We plan on charming you just the same throughout this broadcast. You can like and subscribe to what we got going on here on Morning Combat. So excited to bring you the full pregame preview to you, brought to you by Cuervo. Follow us on our extended social channels right there. Hey, follow everything Chuck Mindenhall does. I think you already do. Quick hello to the 4th member of our team today, the producer, director, bong enthusiast, and a man who we're pretty thankful that there was an Aussie who was horned up. That's why he's here. It's Luke Nocita of the Main Card Minute. Yeah.
What's up, boys? I'm hyped for this card. I'm going to give it an A. I'm giving it
An
a
A?
solid A. Yeah, Luke, you left out the 2 best
Got a mark.
prelims when talking about the prelims. I
The
mean,
Rombetsky one?
Raumbetsky, Klein, and Nathaniel Wood, Jose Delgado, going to be a banger as well.
I do like Wood Delgado. I'm not quite as high on the other ones. However, I do agree Klein, Rombetsky is going to be. This is what I mean. I didn't say that the Bellator prelims don't have charm. They actually do. It just feels like it's up, down, left, right. It just, it's the
BA,
contra.
BA star.
Yeah, it's just kind of all over the place.
There you go. Quick reminder that if you want to dress like me and look like me, head on over to
why
morningcombat.shop
would you
right now.
ever want that?
October exclusives are in the building from the Super Washed Dads Average Joe art creation to how about that Frank and Luke and Donkula Halloween crossover. Get your autograph posters, mix and match the colors. We got a great slew of evergreen items that I would love if Chuck would outfit his family in them. Head on over to morningcombat.shop. All right. I
That
just
kid
knocked
does
over
good
this.
work, by the way, man. Like
Who?
The artist there does good work for you guys.
Yeah,
Oh, you're talking about Average Joe art?
I'm talking about Average Joe.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever
Very
need some
talented.
myth, you ever need some
I think
myth
he's done
merch
something.
created?
I think he's done something with me on it before.
All
I don't remember.
All right, great
Yeah.
gentleman.
Seems
It's
to have a
time.
lasting impact on
Yes.
you, I can tell.
It's time to break in. It's time to do this. It's time to break down these fights, and we're gonna have some fun here with our Cuervo Tequila Blanco today. You ready to
Right.
You ready to get white with me?
Yes.
Blanco, right?
Blanco.
Okay. All right. Brought to you by Cuervo. Now's a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila, and we will enjoy that right now.
It is 11:09 in the morning, so why not?
There we go.
I had 3 margaritas last Friday night, by the way.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's a lot for you these days.
Did you telling me I was on my ass?
Margaritas.
I told my wife I had to bike home just to kind of like cycle the alcohol
Yeah, what do you
through.
think about a grown man on an e-bike?
A knee bike?
I'm an e-bike dad now.
Okay.
Eat my shit.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, take that, Joseph.
I've had it for 2 months. I've got how many miles do you think I put on it? And I crossed the threshold yesterday.
176.
302.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Luke, we won't judge him more than at least 3 times. He will chase that.
Is that
tequila.
enough for you,
He will
fuckhead?
chase that tequila.
Is that enough for you? Is that enough?
That's past the margarita line.
All right. And let's put
All right. Now, we
mystery
always-
cola in here.
We do always salute
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. God.
to all the divorced women out there, because this show
As we used to
cares.
say, here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
If no one else cares. And Chuck, would you like to send this one out? I don't know, the troops? Where are you looking to Colombian people everywhere? Where do you go?
Let's go with Paraguay. Yeah, to Paraguay.
Paraguay,
Yeah.
yes. A South American tradition that Luke never talks about.
That's right.
Capital of Paraguay is what? Asuncion?
That's right.
Asuncion?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Luke, please, Cajo
All right.
Barajo.
Arriba, abajo, al centro.
Okay.
Touch.
Ah, it
Al
sounds
dentro. Uy, fuck
incorporated.
me, al dentro. Yeah, that's a lot of tequila.
That's the.
Can I get a napkin by chance? Because I am a fuckhead.
Yes, what a way. What a way.
Boy, look at
I like that we
there.
touched on the fights a little before we got into this part.
Just a little touch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to go get Luke
That is smooth, man.
A little touch, not like our thing. I don't know.
Karaoke.
All right, the good news here, fellas, with this main event, UFC 321 on Saturday in Abu Dhabi, is that finally the heavyweight division will roll on in its full, undisputed form. Jon Jones retired in January, vacated the belt, and then came back 4 days later once he heard about the South Lawn. But we're not talking about Jon Jones right here. We're talking about 32-year-old Brit Tom Aspinall, who has never been past 2 rounds in 18 pro fights of his 15 victories, by the way. He's got 12 by knockout, 3 by submission. His only UFC defeat was an injury-plagued moment against Curtis Blades that he avenged with a first-round knockout. He welcomes an anything but red hot, however, Ciryl Gane, who, after his 7-0 start in UFC to pick up the interim heavyweight championship by stopping Derek Lewis, it's been a bit of a struggle lately. He comes in off of a fight against Alexander Volkov that very few ultimately thought he had won. But as we set it up and break it down, I want to remind you that today's episode of Morning Kombat is presented to you by DraftKings. And with DraftKings, of course, the crown is yours. When we're looking at this main event, we talked a lot this week, Chuck, leading into this episode, about the pressure on Aspinall. I talked to Ciryl Gane this week. He said there's a lot of pressure on me as well. How live of a dog is Ciryl Gane here, considering that Aspinall must deal with that idea that Jon Jones ran from you for a reason, so now you got to come out and show us exactly what that reason was on Saturday.
I mean, the pressure is on Aspinall in this fight, and I get why Gane is saying that. This is a guy who he kind of has lived the life in a strange way that Aspinall wanted, right? Like, he wanted to fight Jon Jones, could not do that. He wanted to fight Ngannou, he wasn't able to do that. The guy has lost to those guys, so it puts him in a very strange position, almost in that gatekeeper position, right? Like, if he goes in there and he loses to Aspinall, he's clearly now kind of just below the grade of the really elite heavyweights, and I think that would truly establish it. Obviously, if he wins, he re-enters the discussion. Maybe you start to let some of those fade away. But for Aspinall, it's very important for the heavyweight division to kind of get rolling in a momentum, with some momentum, and I think he's the guy to do it. Not only does he represent, England and all that fanfare that comes with that, but I think that he would stand if he goes right through. If it's a typical Aspinall fight, if it goes right through Gane, don't you think he kind of stands now as the guy? I think you could make the argument very easily that he's better than Ngannou, he's better than Jon Jones, where he's at as a heavyweight right now. And I think that's important for the UFC to, for that division to be healthy.
Well, every UFC opponent he's faced, he has finished, meaning Aspinall. Luke, I was actually going to ask you that Chuck just sort of teed up. If we're looking at all the heavyweights in the world right now, I know we can talk about everything we don't know about Aspinall. Hopefully we find that out in this fight. Can he go to the championship rounds for the first time? What's his chin, ground game look like when it's really tested? But do you think he's shown enough to let you comfortably believe he is the best heavyweight in the world entering this fight?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. That's a great question because everything we've seen has been extraordinary and special and fun. Limited because he only fought one time in 2024, so it's been in July, so it's been well over a year.
I mean, it's been what has it been 2-3 years of this division just on pause?
It's just insane. Basically. It's insane. So, from what we've seen, it's been great. I don't think his success is in any way. Not that you didn't ask this, but it's not accidental. There's a lot of things you can see. BC, the speed, the athleticism, the ability to cover distance, the ground game, the punching power. Like none of those things are accidental. The one problem is he's only ever been at most to the second round,
and not even that often.
It's been a lot, very rarely at that. And it's like, don't get me wrong, he clearly has an off switch packed into his fist, and that is extremely important. But my rule has always, and maybe Tom Aspinall's the guy to break this, but I've always had a rule, and that rule is, I don't know when that day is going to come, but there's going to be a day where someone matches up with you and they audit you. And even you might win or lose, by the way. It's not like an audit means you automatically lose, but you certainly get pushed to a place that you never thought possible. Aspinall's never even been close. And, we talk about Donkalaev, but, Count Donkula, Ciryl Gane himself, is kind of also in this conversation with guys you're like, oh, is this really the guy to push another guy? I don't know. So to answer the question, BC, the little tiny window we've seen looks like magic. But we're only seeing a little tiny window.
Can I tell you what it is? I did the math. He's 6 fights, 4 years, just over 9 minutes of cage time. Like, he's fought less than 2 rounds in 4 years.
That's insane. He's even openly talked about, I like that there's no tape on me. He sees it, and he quite rightly, he's totally right. This is some kind of asset to him. So, I mean, I think he obviously wants to compete this way, and we all know the adage, you don't get paid by the hour in this fight sport. But it limits what we, and also, you know, show of hands. Have you seen Aspinall do this?
I've seen it a few times.
You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, someone hasn't.
And you compared him to Magic. You meant pre-HIV announcement. like closer to his prime, right? No, seriously. Tom Aspinall's father and trainer called him on Countdown, by the way. The greatest.
The tequila is reporting.
We'll just let that pass. The best knockout threat in UFC history. Now, obviously, he never got a chance to beat Ngannou, who maybe we give that to, but is that fair? I mean, he's finished everybody he's fought. He's beaten a lot better names than people give Aspinall's resume credit for. The efficiency of his knockout skills are pretty damn incredible.
And also, like, just consider that he's fighting Gane, who's, you know, up there, but like, he's already beat the number 2 and the number 3 within the UFC official rankings. The next closest guy is Almeida, who fights on the same card. So if he beats Gane, he's already kind of cleaned out the top of the division, which is kind of a, you know, it's kind of a crazy thing. But I agree. It just, if you're Gane, your whole thing should be, let's see what he does if he's going later into a fight. I mean, that should be the whole mission going into this,
okay, I want to pause that. Can I pause that, or do you have more?
No, go ahead. No,
because I asked Ciryl Gane that this week on my, you can check it out on the BCX there, the interview.
Hey, did you talk to these guys? You haven't mentioned it yet.
We're going to show the whole interview in a second, okay?
All right.
But I specifically said to him, like, okay, bringing him into the later rounds has to be the plan. And he was like, no, I can do it both ways. I'm just as willing to go to war with him in round 1 and try to get him out of there. That was a red flag to me.
That's a victim.
That's a red flag to me, because I don't want to be rude, but like, is he Count Donkula? Is he on first team all donk? There's been a pattern of Ciryl Gane at the very highest level when the lights are the brightest to maybe be a little, either his game wasn't fully ready for prime time. Let's not forget, he came to MMA in 2018.
Yeah.
He debuted in the UFC 1 year later. And it wasn't that long before he was fighting for
He started fighting at Muay Thai in 2015.
Right. It's like, it's incredible. Yeah. So there's things that he doesn't know until he finds that out. I don't know, man. I mean, this is it. When he told me I'm just as willing to go in there and bang and try to get him out of there, you're gonna walk into the hornet's nest if you do that with a guy who's probably just as fast of you, hand speed wise, but the power gap between Aspinall and Gane from a one-shot standpoint just seems to be wide, right?
Seems pretty significant. And also, you know, dude, he had bad judgment in that John Jones fight, like throwing with your backhand and changing stances as you kind of throw through, and now you're totally overexposing yourself. You gave that fight to John, and then the Volkov fight, I went back and I rewatched it in preparation for today. You know, he did some stuff well. He had like a good double leg, I think, in the first round. He got the fight to the floor or tried to get the fight to, or he got taken down or fell back and then tried to get up and then had a decent scramble for a bit. But like, he's got a striker's takedown defense. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, where you'll watch a striker build takedown defense slowly over time through the years. And you can see every time they add a new wrinkle, it makes it a little bit harder, but it's all robotic. They never have a natural flow and understanding about how to keep it moving, what the next place is if something gets shut down. Whereas a wrestler just kind of instinctively knows how to go to the next place, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And, you know, that's not something you can easily fix. And it just seems to me like he's got some fatal flaws with his game, in addition to the decision-making being, you know, a big part of it.
I mean, he was...
So I think he's saying that is a red flag for him.
Well, I was going to say, look, like, Ciryl Gane, if you recall, was 11-0 when he stopped Lewis and was suddenly the interim champion. But in his last 5 fights, we have a disappointing performance against a one-legged Ngannou. Close fight. Gane thinks he won still. Disappointing performance, right? Mm-hmm. Went to war with Tai Tuivasa, probably unnecessarily, got rocked a couple times, did get the knockout win. Completely laid an egg against John Jones, and even he will agree to that. Nice comeback stoppage of Sergey Spivak, but now he breaks his foot in the December rematch with Volkov, and nobody thinks he won the fight, including Dana White, who promised Volkov, like, you know, he'd make it up to him afterwards. When I say that Gane couldn't be entering this fight on less of a hot streak, like, if that Spivak fight was the one fight in the 5 where maybe we saw the best version of him, how much better can he be? Because what Gane told me ultimately was, I made one mistake against John Jones, and everyone thinks I have a bad ground game because of that.
No, that's not true. He made many mistakes, and they were really not just ordinary mistakes. They were really bad ones. So, for example, he sat for that leg lock. He not only sat for the leg lock, he sat and then for the sat the wrong direction. That's not one mistake. That's two. Number one, you should have never have sat for that ankle lock. You should have passed. And number two, if you're going to sit for it, can you please know how to finish it? Finishing mechanics matter. He did it the exact opposite wrong way you're supposed to do it. Then repeated the mistake in the Volkov fight. This is what I mean, BC, where he's like, I made one mistake. No, the fuck you didn't. You made many, and you compounded them in quick succession, and all of it feeds back to somebody who not recognizing what tends to be the problem here, which is that you're out of your depth, you're going to shortcuts in the grappling department, and you think that you can take a shortcut to a submission finish. You cannot. You don't have the skills for it.
Given that, like, people have seen kind of gone, I think, like, some of the things you're mentioning, like, obviously you're seeing at a little bit deeper level of analysis, but, like, we've seen him lose and we've seen him, like, him win fights that he should have lost.
Sure.
Is it a disaster if he goes in there? Like, say he just catches, you know, Aspinall, like, all of a sudden it's the Gane era or whatever you want to call it. Is this like,
I think that's an official disaster for the heavyweight division to have to wait this long only to find out that Aspinall wasn't that dude.
Yes,
That's
that would
a
be
disaster.
terrible.
That would be terrible. And also, what are you going to get? You're going to get Jones coming back to fight Gane again?
Yes, you're going to get Jones going, I was right. I'll see you at the
I
White
know.
House. You know, like that's it.
I mean, this is a huge fight for Tom Aspinall. You can say what you want about like how much you like the individual matchup or what you think the fight will be, but BC, to the point you raise, I mean, if we were clear on this show, I mean, Aspinall was the guy that John had to fight, and John did duck him. Those things are like unimpeachably true. But what's not true is that we thought he was the guy that John had to fight because, oh, we know for a fact he'll beat him. It was because he had the belt and because he had the best record, and that's the guy you have to fight. But as I mentioned before, BC, like, we've never really seen someone. How does Tom Aspinall react if he gets tired?
Right.
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
What is the threshold where he gets tired? Couldn't tell you. These are big questions. You can answer that for virtually every other champion on the roster. You cannot do it for him.
Long Island Luke, can we get an updated DraftKings odds for this main event to see what, at least from a betting standpoint, Ciryl Gane is up against?
Yeah, you know, just give my phone a second to load up.
All right. Be pertinent information to have at the ready, but that's fine. You know what I mean? That's good right there.
We're on it. UFC 321. Here we go. Let me scroll down to that fight.
Yeah, scroll down.
You know, Tom Aspinall minus 355. Ciryl Gane coming back at plus 280.
Wow.
Well, I don't have any faith in Gane.
All right. Well, these are two normally well-mannered gentlemen for the large part, but there's been a little bit of fireworks over the idea of, did one turn down a fight earlier when it was offered and what that? And it got saucy enough that we had to bring Cuervo back in here for a little bit of something we call shots fired. And shots fired, of course, brought to you by Cuervo. Now's a good time. Hey, right now? Okay, now's a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila. Tom Aspinall had gone on record in the past in saying he felt like Ciryl Gane had ducked him. Ferdinand Lopez, the coach of Gane, disagreed. They met up in the hotel lobby in Abu Dhabi and had some words. Let's listen.
No, listen, from our perspective, that's what happened genuinely.
Oh, listen, I swear to God, I'm the agent. And I was asking a journalist from Arena when I told him, talk with Enter, talk with Dana. Never there has mentioned your name or any fan before Manchester. That's the first time July.
But you have to understand, for us, they did mention Cyryl's name before. Maybe not to you, but to us.
No. Mention is like, do you want to fight him? They never even mentioned to me, I swear. Like, I can talk with any one of them.
I believe
so Ciryl was like, this is, I don't understand, because this
I
guy looks so good with me.
I'm only saying,
I don't understand what's
but from my perspective, it's the truth. From your perspective, it might be different. But I'm just saying my truth. I would never make it up and be like, oh, he's a pussy or whatever. I wouldn't do that. I'm saying the truth from our perspective.
Now it makes sense for me.
No, of course. I'm never going to start making up some lies. But from our perspective, we got
that's the trash talk.
Before Manchester.
It's about to break out into it.
About to turn into a club dance.
Don't worry about it. This is like you. You like
EDM
to fight.
hours.
I mean,
we love it. We're going to fight and it's going to be good.
You see, I told you it's something.
You don't waste heat like that. You know what I mean?
Much ado about nothing ultimately here, LT.
It's not the John Jones DC brawl in the MGM lobby, I can tell you that.
Oh, where's Dave Schaller when you need him? We do, though, have additional sound.
He runs PR for the Commanders now.
Really? I know he went to the 76ers
that's
for
why I
years.
last saw him.
He
Yeah,
not
76ers.
only runs PR for the Commanders, he's the head of PR for the Sixers and the Commanders simultaneously.
Wow.
It's the same guy who owns both, the Josh Harris Group.
I didn't know that.
So he started with the 76ers, and now he's head of PR for the Washington Commanders. Shout out to Dave Schaller.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
I think he's from Atlantic City, right, Dave Schaller?
Yeah.
He's
I believe
that
so.
hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Dave.
He was
Schaller.
with me when
Great
Cowboy
guy.
came into studio at Sirius XM, and the interview was over. He's like, "Where's the nearest titty bar?" And I was like, "Well,
Okay.
I'll have to get on
You
that.
got to save those anecdotes for your book.
You already have it all printed out right here.
Yes,
You
there you go, yeah.
Luke, can you set up the sound by Ciryl Gane having a little bit of beef here with Tom Aspinall on putting hands on opponents' shoulders? What's this all about?
Yeah, you know how he did the John Jones thing, almost like a meme, where it's like hey, I'm being friendly, but it's a big brother.
Yeah.
And he kind of does this somewhat repeatedly. Gane didn't like the idea of having that being done to him.
All right, Ciryl Gane, let's hear it.
This is a stupid thing. This is so. If you want to reach my side, I must to pull my hand on his shoulder. If you want to have his range, you just need to pull his hand on the wall, and he's gonna have his range. Why you don't? Why you need to push his hand on my shoulder?
What do you think it is? Do you think it's like a?
I'm not sure if it's the truth. If he did that for that, he say he did that for that.
I still don't know the answer myself.
I don't think so because he's not smart. If you want to have my range, if you want to learn something about my range, I must to put my hand, and you're gonna have my range.
Ferguson was smart.
If you put your hand on my shoulder, you're gonna have your range.
Yeah.
So I saw every people on social media. Whoa. 10,000 IQ is so smart. But no, brother, you're so stupid. So yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's very funny.
Tom's a big guy. There's no graceful way to grab a man's
There
shoulder.
isn't.
Come
There
on.
isn't.
Yeah, he's
There
got like a
isn't.
throat tattoo almost back to his spine.
Hey, do you want to do this for
Sure, man. Hey,
for the people of Colorado?
Colorado.
Yes, thank you.
Are they shooting each other again? What's going on? over there?
Wow, wow. I
Well,
was
I
told.
don't know.
I was told
why are we-
specifically no Columbine jokes. Please, here we go.
No, it wasn't a call. I mean, there's been like 5,000 shootings since then. All right, here we go.
Well, this has turned dark and tragic. What's it like watching Jokic cry over his horse winning
Oh, God.
and then acting like he got a bill paid? You know what
when
I
he won
mean?
it, when he's like, the job is
He's
done.
like,
we go,
okay,
we go
great,
home
the
now.
bill's
We go
paid.
home.
Yeah, awesome, great. You know,
I think it's great, man.
yeah.
I mean, that dude has been a godsend for the city of Denver. It's been like, but they, if they don't win it this year, I mean, they've done everything they're supposed to like put themselves in that position. So it's going to be fun, man. Do you like him? You got to like Jokic. I mean,
I like the idea of him hating everything about celebrity life,
yes.
but I have to worry about the Wizards, and they've got a long way to go.
There's a lot to worry
Wizards
about there.
sometimes have their number.
Hey, maybe Javaris Crittenden will get out soon and be able to.
Andre Blatch.
Yes, remember him. Back to this main event, of course. Okay, maybe that's not the sauciest build-up in the back and forth between them. Gane has said repeatedly this week that he trusts his own ground game. He respects Aspinall's ground game. Is this even something we have to think about? Will this fight go to the ground on Saturday?
I don't think so. If he's being sincere and telling you that he doesn't necessarily think he wants to drag him into a long fight or anything like that, somebody's going to go down. It's probably going to be him. I don't think it goes to the ground.
I think it does go to the ground.
You think so?
Yeah.
But who initiates that? Gane?
Aspinall.
Oh, as a way to show, as a way to take advantage of a suspected weak spot.
Yeah, like just to blast him off of his feet. Aspinall subbed out Volkov from on top
Yeah,
with a
that's
straight
true.
armbar.
That is
like
true.
he's well rounded. I'm not saying it like as sometimes we treat it like, oh, he'll take him to the ground as like
Yeah.
a refuge. And I think of it more like he might mix it up, take him to the ground and like really put a hurting on him there, actually. I don't see it as a weakness. I see it as a display of a multitude of strengths.
Yeah.
Aspinall's dad kind of broke down in Countdown that his initial strength was the wrestling. But we don't see Aspinall have to use that a lot. So it's really hard to tell. I know he's got 3 submission wins as a pro, but
This all goes back to the lack of tape, right?
That's what I
You just
mean.
don't
yeah,
know.
that's what it is right there. When we talk about what they're fighting for, obviously we know that for Gane, it's in some ways to save the trajectory of his career and finally live up to those expectations. For Aspinall, it's to cement that the hype was for real, and now we can get back to business, and we may have a historically relevant heavyweight champion for all we know if this continues. But in terms of like who's next, I know the Rosenstrike. I'm sorry, Rosenstrike. Good Lord. I know the Jalton Almeida Volkov fight that we're going to get to could very well produce the next title contender. But are we expecting the Jon Jones comeback tied to the White House, potentially against Pereira, to be an alternate thing separate from the title picture at the moment? Or is there a chance that Gane and Aspinall are fighting for a potential fight against either one of those?
It feels to me, if I'm being honest, not so much in what the actual paper says about what the fight is. What the paper is, this is a full weight class champion in a title defense against a challenger. But it still feels like this is the interim championship. And if Jon ends up fighting Alex at the White House, that's almost seen as like, again, not formally the championship, but the most important heavyweight fight that the UFC could put together. Certainly the one that the fans, I would imagine, would have the most amount of interest in, which is weird because it'd be one light heavyweight coming up all the way from middleweight, essentially, versus a guy who ducked the other guy who's been out.
And you're punishing the guy that he was ducking.
Yeah. There's a question here. Like, BC, let's see what happens here. Let's imagine Aspinall wins, but it's somehow not like a very interesting fight or a mandate. And then you have a Jon versus Alex fight at the White House, and whoever wins, it's exciting and thrilling and like hugely momentum building. You just can't tell me that the whatever they say, whoever has the belt, fine, but the stature of it confers importance, and that importance would be heavily tilted towards that event, the White House event.
Look,
You're trying to get like resolution in the heavyweight division. Imagine what that would do. That would just like.
But can you justify it? Because like as much as I hate what Jon Jones did and how he handled it and the length and everything, and now he wants to be back, and it's just like, oh God, him against Pereira is a monumental fight, no matter how you frame it. But you're right, that would we would consider that almost the heavyweight championship.
Can you imagine a non-title heavyweight fight being significantly bigger and more important than the heavyweight championship of the world?
We just had two straight heavyweight champions vacate the belt, and they had the potential to be two of the best of all time in Ngannou and Jones.
Can they do it though? Like you were mentioning a scenario where he gets by Gane, but like he goes in there and he crushes Gane. Like, can they still do that? I mean, to put him aside at that point would almost feel promotional malpractice, right? Like you have a guy who you should be 100% behind, who's smoking everybody that he faces, and he can't get into that big fight. Like, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? Then the absurdity of that?
It would be absurd, but is the flip side that if Gane pulls the upset here, that brings Jon Jones to the White House for the belt in a rematch?
Yes.
That would be the story.
Like,
in terms of rewarding behavior,
timing is everything.
But that's like throwing a dolly through a window in Brooklyn and getting the biggest title fight ever as your reward.
That can't happen.
The only caveat there is Dana White himself finding Jon an unreliable partner to promote.
That's the other
one thing that no matter what happens could derail that plan. But dude, I mean, again, I said it before. It's one thing if Jon is floating a fight. I don't want to fight the champion. I want to fight a light heavyweight blown up at heavyweight, even though at that time he was the champion. But that's not the case anymore. And now Poatan is the one lobbying for it, which totally changes the dynamics of how that fight is being perceived. What the UFC will do, I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
What if Jailton Almeida, for instance, like a new blood coming up, wins? You know, he wins convincingly. Aspinall wins. Right now, you have like a guy within those ranks who's coming for him. Right? Could they do it then? Could it be like, okay, now you got a two-piece, you can't
Jones, do it on the same card, or you're just pissing on the heavyweight champion.
Maybe that's what they could do, right? Like they could
you
do
put
something
Aspinall
like that.
Europe against Almeida.
I think if Aspinall goes in there and annihilates Gane, that changes the equation.
I agree. I'm just going through the hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The absurdity at the very top, I was like, the absurdity if he goes in there and wins, the absurdity of like who's waiting in the wings and all that comes into play. I think Jon Jones at that point, it's they're firing pistols at his feet. Okay, you're like, if you want to come back, that's your guy. You have to face him, right?
Can it be helped along? I was going to ask you who Aspinall, let's say he knocks out Gane in the second round, and he's going to have a call out ready. What do you call out in that spot? Do you say, F you, Jon, you had your chance? Poatan, you want to fight for the heavyweight title, become the 3-division champion? I'm your guy. Meet me at the White House lawn.
It's smart for him to do that.
Well, but also you don't want to be left out of a Jones-Pereira super fight.
I think though.
So do you call out Jon? Like, what do you? Or do you call out the UFC? Dude?
I don't think you call out a name. I mean, if you want to, you can. I don't know about Jon, but I mean, you call out Poatan or whatever you want.
You can't say, "Hey, matchmaker."
That'd be brilliant. That's a trolling job. Like you're saying, dismiss Jon Jones.
Here's what you do: you put the ball in the UFC's court and you say, "I've seen what Merab has done. I want to do that at heavyweight. I had one fight in 2024. This division's been on ice." And I'm here to thaw it out.
Amen.
Make me active. Put me back in there in 3 months. And I feel like you'll kind of get this resolved to a degree.
John Jones, get your shit together. Long Island Luke, before we give our predictions, we want to hear your betting analysis here. You do have Gane as a big, for a title fight, this is a pretty big underdog. Is there any value in going Ciryl Gane?
It's just, you guys talked about all the unknowns of Aspinall. You just can't put your money on Ciryl Gane in this position.
Not reliable.
Not to mention the Blades injury. Remember 15 seconds in? Like, that always comes into play in heavyweight. Like, guys can get hurt. So.
Exactly. I took Tom Aspinall in a parlay. It is a very chalky parlay, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do here. I kind of want to dabble with a Ciryl Gane spread bet, but I don't think this goes the distance, so I don't think it's even worth it.
What's the parlay?
The parlay is Aspinall moneyline, Umar moneyline, bless you, BC, and over 2.5 in the co-main. It's plus 115.
BC's allergic to your picks.
I am, very much so. LT, I want to go to you first. How does this fight end? Who wins?
Probably Aspinall. Probably second or third round, probably TKO stoppage. That doesn't mean it's on the feet. Could be on the ground, pounding him out, you know? But again, I mean, if he goes in there and gets chinned, would you be like, wow, I never saw that coming? But I don't think that's the likeliest outcome.
Or if he gasses out in a back-and-forth spirited kickboxing
But
duel.
you know, like, Ciryl Gane has good cardio, but not amazing cardio. Like, that's not a thing.
I know, it's tough. It's like, look at who we're relying on. He's coming here off of the worst scenario and circumstances.
Gane is the kind of guy that looks real good when your fundamentals, when the opponent's fundamentals are real bad.
Sure.
Because he has athleticism, and there are certain dimensions of the game that he can be quite technical, like with the jab and then angling off, he looks pretty good. I don't think Aspinall's that guy. I think Aspinall's and by the way, Aspinall, you know, I'm sure you watched the countdown for UFC 321 where he's like, I've not been competing, but I've definitely been working steadily. Curious to see what he's got. I'm gonna say third round stoppage, Tom Aspinall.
Chuck, there's a rumor that you've been watching episode 1 of UFC 321 embedded on like loop.
I haven't even seen it, but I draw these strange parallels of. I try to think like
that says it right there. I don't know. Yeah.
What's this? Oh, here we go.
What's embedded episode 1?
Oh, you didn't see it yet?
No.
It was like UFC's attempt to cash in on Dern's high value.
2 minutes of Dern by the pool.
All right, so it sounds like I will at least.
Like,
have
and they
that
followed her from
up.
behind. Like they did the full. They put her in the thumbnail.
I always want to draw these parallels. Because I think that the heavyweight division is finally, like, you know, you talk about heavyweights traditionally in any kind of combat world, it's the sport. Like, that's the division, right? And I feel like you compare this with Ngannou kind of out there and John Jones out there, and you have Aspinall to the 70s in boxing, where it was like you had all these guys. And I keep seeing Ciryl Gane as like this Ron Lyle or Jimmy Young type figure, right? Like a guy who's always fighting those guys, but he's not beating them. And I feel like that's where... Maybe this is like that romantic side of like how you look at the game, but I'm like, I feel like that Aspinall is in that spot to kind of like say this is a real era of something happening, and he can be that guy. And when he says that he's been training and he's not letting his guard down and all that, I really believe him. So I'm definitely taking Aspinall. I think it happens fairly early within 2 rounds.
I was going to ask, we're all taking Aspinall. I'm taking him by TKO stoppage. I'm just wondering, will it come in round 3 where we get to see him pushed at least to a point we've never seen,
you
or
guys
see him have to work for it? But the more I think about it, the more I watch Countdown, the more I just like really look at tape, I'm like, nah, bro, this is a second round, if that. TKO win for
You guys
Aspinall.
have already designated Gane a donk something. What are you guys calling him? You got the donk.
I just called him Count Donkula.
Okay, Count Donkula. I mean, if he goes in there and he gets smoked in the first round, I think he'll earn that nickname, because this is the one thing that everybody's like, okay, the suspense of this fight is what happens if it goes a little deeper into the fight.
And
right?
he's like, no, I'll show you that I can take him out in round 1. That's where I was like, hey, dude, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, could you make more noise
I'm
wiping
sorry.
your face?
I got a runny nose here. I'm sorry.
Just kill the mic when you do it. You know?
I'm sorry. I have a cough button for a reason.
And cocaine.
There it is. Let's go to our co-main event, and the build to get here to the vacant women's strawweight title bout is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. Get unlimited data that won't slow you down. Zhang Weili has given up the strap at 115 to move up next pay-per-view at MSG to challenge Valentina Shevchenko in a flyweight super-ish type of fight. But what it has left behind is a wide-open division at the 115. Virna Jandiroba is what, 5-1 since she lost a decision to Mackenzie Dern back in 2020. Dern, on the other hand, is 5-4 and has been as inconsistent as possible yet has shown, I think at times, much higher flashes of a ceiling compared to the steady, technical, well-rounded game of Jandiroba. Long Island Luke, can we get our odds on this one right now?
I got them ready to go right here. No, I don't. I X'd out of it. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Well,
I might have it.
Well, Dern's the favorite here, and that's where I wanted to leave it off.
Dern is the favorite?
Yes.
Oh, no. For DraftKings, no, I don't have it. Sorry.
All right.
I have it. It is Jandiroba plus 150. Dern. Oh, sorry, plus 130. Dern minus 150.
All right.
I'm a little surprised
So
by
it's
that.
getting closer, but still, even though Mackenzie Dern won a 3-round unanimous decision over Jandiroba in 2020, to me they're much different in their evolution since then. But you had an alternate take. You said Dern has evolved more since then, and I disagree with that.
Well, I mean, I'm not. You made a compelling argument when we were talking about this pre-show. The thing is, like, I watched the first fight, and God, Dern seems so raw. I mean, just green,
kind of green at the moment. Yeah,
just it didn't.
I remember that.
She just kind of throws herself into these exchanges, like literally, like loses balance or just kind of throws punches. There's no setup. There's no feinting. There's no thoughtfulness to it. It's just clashing. It's just two rams colliding. And she kind of out-physicaled. I mean, there was obviously some skill on the ground and whatnot, but she kind of out-physicaled Jandiroba. Now, to the point you raise, Jandiroba hit her with that sort of kick that ended up being a knee that broke her nose in round 2. Dern, that fight and many other ones, has shown us pretty good bearing under fire. Her ability to maintain composure, quite good. And then on the ground, obviously, is still going to be superior to Jandiroba. I think you're right, BC. I would say that the way in which Jandiroba has polished her game, put it together a little bit.
She can wrestle now.
She can wrestle a little bit more. I just feel like, I guess what I would say is this. Maybe I'll dial it back or change it a little bit to, I feel like Dern has cleaned up some of the more egregious things that she was doing if you watch that fight. To your point, though, there's a level of technical, I don't know what the word would be, but
there's a donk presence. We got to get a nicer way to say this.
It's amazing that her wrestling has kind of struggled as long as it has, although it's gotten better of late. It's kind of interesting that she never really worked on a jab, despite the fact she worked with good boxing coaches.
But have you noticed her striking can vary from fight to fight? She can either be locked in and technical,
I have noticed
or
this.
she can get thrown off base early and it becomes a wild brawl.
Well, here's the question you have to ask yourself is, again, to the extent that the first fight means anything to the second one, Dern, was much more physical of the two, with some exception, but in general, just kind of was the one pressing the action, literally walking into Jandiroba. If she tries to be too technical this time, might she limit her offense to such a degree that Jandiroba can make it close, and then potentially take a decision? Is there a case to be made that, maybe a little bit of, maybe you don't need to be too technically savvy with this one, just kind of throw offense with volume and then pressure, and then let that kind of take its course? I don't know the answer.
Look, I guess I can understand Dern being favored if you look at it as she's the higher finishing potential of the two, right? Incredible submission game. She also, at times, when she's locked in, can really find a home for that right hand. But on the flip side, Dern caught up with a friend of the program, Shaquille Majuri. I don't know if he texts you often.
Not too often, no.
Okay.
I shut him down a long time ago.
And she said one thing that he brought up that I thought was interesting. She said, I'm glad this is not a fight against Zhang Wei Li because I don't feel like I'm ready for that right now. I feel like I would need a few more fights. And I get that if you're just straight up comparing to her opponent in Jandiroba, who in her mind, she's like, I already beat her 4 years ago or 5 years ago. That should be fine. But I think that explains the tepid nature I have in seeing Dern as the betting favorite here. Even she realizes she's not quite there yet. And if she's not quite there yet, even though Jandiroba is unassuming, 37 years old, isn't marketing it on the same level, she's solid, steady, well-rounded, and has gotten better fight by fight as her confidence has grown.
You're talking about Jandiroba?
Jandiroba.
Yeah, 100%.
She's got her eye on the prize right now, like without question.
It's in the, in how we perceived Mackenzie Dern coming up is that we always thought at some point, because she was a darling within our industry, and especially within the UFC, that she would be given a title shot. It always felt like they were kind of working her into that spot. Like they gave her some big fights, but then she would kind of come up short or whatever. I do agree that she has been kind of inconsistent, but mostly improving as we go on. Jandiroba is weird because I probably would have picked Dern very easily in this fight if I didn't just watch the Yan Jiaonan fight where Virna basically dominated her.
Virna's gotten tougher and meaner.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and there's a little. I remember she used to call herself the female Damian Maia. She used to say that she wanted, and the thing that's crazy about it is I can see that parallel in that Damian was a very cerebral kind of fighter. He approached it almost like a pacifist would. He was like, how can I finish this guy without inflicting a lot of damage? She's not exactly like that, but she's super tough in the way that he was. And I think that she's very cerebral, and she's actually very teachable, even though she's in her late 30s at this point. Like, if you've watched her from fight to fight, you just see this escalation of what she's been able to do. And that's what makes it fascinating. I just think that both of them are completely different athletes from where they were, whenever they fought, was it 4 or 5 years ago? They're just in a completely different thing. Now you're like, okay, who's picked up more? Who wants it more? And it's tough to go against Jandiroba in this one. Like, it's tough because she's looked so good to me.
Of the 4 losses that Dern has had since their first fight, Jandiroba has faced 3 of those fighters and beaten them all. Like that, it's
True.
sort of, does momentum matter, or is Dern ultimately going to always be feast or famine? So we have to bet and predict this fight based upon whether we think this is a feasting night, whether we think, I feel like she fights better when the odds are against her, right? Because every time it looks like she's about to make it there, she has a stumble, and then she always tends to bounce back in a big way. She's on a 2-fight win streak. This fight isn't about bouncing back. This fight is about finally living up to those expectations. So does the question come down? I don't think as much it's skill for skill. I think it's, can Dern handle the big moment? That's what I'm looking at here.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's rare that I listen to you and you're very persuasive. You're actually very persuasive on this.
I was
point.
not persuasive with women in my 20s.
Yeah, well, in this particular case, this is pretty persuasive. I do think
this is his wheelhouse, 115.
So your belief about why Jandiroba lost the first fight is because she just didn't quite understand what she could do.
She said she lost complete confidence in her game when she lost 2 times in 3 fights to Ribas and to Dern.
Yeah. Do you think she'd lose to Ribas today? I don't.
No. Ribas has regressed. And
I think she's certainly surpassed it. It's also interesting. She said something. She compared herself not in terms of achievements, but in terms of inspiration. She took something from Charles Oliveira, where she said, I thought champions had to be these undefeated. Like a St. Pierre wasn't undefeated, but something like that to be a champion. And it turns out you can make mistakes and then iron it out and be real great. And so she kind of feels like she wants to borrow from that tradition. Now, to that point, Dern would also kind of be of that model.
Dern
100%.
made the same argument this week that she's comparing herself to Oliveira, where he was up and down, and then came to the third.
Got to get it all together. The difference with Dern is that it's no longer the case, but she's been living in the shadow of Ronda Rousey expectations for so freaking long that now they've kind of dropped away. But, when she was coming up, BC, or Chuck, that was the comparisons were ever present at that time.
Yeah. And I mean, even you think back to some of the people who were in the same kind of unfair treatment, which was like, the Rose Namajunas. There was I felt like it was just an impossible bar to go in there and do this. What we're seeing though, is that you have to like earn it over the course of time. And I mean, there was a point, like you mentioned, she's been 5-4 since and I think over the last 8 she's 4-4, which is not really the credentials, but there's rare that you can look at somebody and say like she's made really good progress and like improved in a 4-4 run. But I think that you can, because she's been fighting very tough competition.
But the good news is that
it's fun that way though. Like,
Jason
it is fun.
Perillo's back, and I think that's a good thing, because when she would not have him suddenly, and then I think, didn't she have a boyfriend that was training her like for a couple fights in a row, and now, but like, wouldn't you say Perillo
doesn't
seems
have a
to be
boyfriend anymore? You're good, man.
Oh, thank you for clearing that.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Wouldn't you say like that has brought out the best in her when she's listening to Perillo's striking game plan and breaking it down?
I tend to think that the advice he gives her is good. I don't know exactly what kind of training room that they have. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just have no way of knowing. But I do feel like the kinds of things that Perillo can impart are the kinds of things that Dern needs. I think you really stated it really well, BC, which is that like these moments where she puts it together. It's like, okay, all right, let's get it. Well, and then it just
but
falls
that's
kind of
against
short.
Angela Hill, though, to be fair. And I want to, I want to see people fulfill their potential. I've always wanted to see her get to this level. I'm just saying, this fight, I don't have the confidence in her.
I think that Mackenzie Dern has always carried something of the novelty, right? Like she came from she was very strong. Remember, everybody's like, oh, that's a fake. She's not even American. Or remember, she's not Brazilian. Remember this whole thing?
BC is one of these people who believes that she's been on a years-long campaign to have a muddled and somewhat fake accent for purposes that make no sense other than generating internet mock.
I also believe
she's
that
very New
Alistair
York. She
felt
smokes
it.
2 packs a day. She speaks like a New Yorker.
Exactly. Do you know
But
her
she's
father's nickname is Megaton, which is what they call Luke at Joseph A.
Wellington?
Banks when he comes in. Yeah.
but listen, but I do think that she carries that novelty into her title. Like, there's something about her general perception where people still see her this way. I think this is the moment if she's going to show up and ever do away with that for good. This is the time. Like, it would be the moment, right?
But Chuck, you have espoused upon us one of the greatest theories that proved true of all time, that maybe it wasn't Adesanya's story all along.
It's got to become a drinking thing.
Maybe it was Poetan.
Yeah,
So
it was.
maybe
It was.
this was Virna Jandiroba's
Which one? Who?
story. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly.
Virna Jandiroba.
And you know she's going to have one eye on her opponent, one eye on the title.
Oh,
no, I mean that like
wow.
I don't.
Thanks, guys.
You know, I always joke that we're going to get fired. I don't think I'm joking today.
What I'm really trying to say is this is Jandiroba's moment. I think that she is going to be the perfect kryptonite for whatever Dern tries to do. We go 5 rounds. You've got a new champion, whether you're ready for it or not. You got a new champion, and she would have earned it.
Who is the
Without going through Weili, but she would have earned it.
Who's the better story to win this? You have somebody who's persevering at her age. Is it Dern?
No, it's
Well, I mean, better. When you say better, what does that mean?
Meaning, like, you know, Jandiroba is more of a woodwork figure. I don't think that people really saw her coming up until the moment she got there, right? Like, 37 years old. We've talked about the 35-year-old threshold a million times.
Yeah.
So, like, she gets into this position. Her breaking through at this point, is that a better story than Mackenzie Dern, who we've all had our eyes on the whole time? And you're like, wow, look, she finally grew up in front of our eyes and she won a title.
Depends what you want. If you wanted the golden child who finally became great, then you would. The answer is Dern. But you know, the kid who had some sort of physical limitation that BC mocked ruthlessly just now.
No, I was talking about her passion and focus on the championship.
I'm sure you were. In any case, but who defied bullying and to a degree of poverty to overcome.
It's a great
all
story
that.
in all legitimacy.
I mean, they're interesting stories for very different reasons. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if the winner is going to give Tatiana Suarez an opportunity to tell another interesting story of coming back. You know what I mean? Because this division feels that wide open without Weili Zhang. But does Zhang come back if she loses to Valentina? I don't know about that. Right?
What do you think? I don't know. That's a toughie.
That's a great question. We'll have to see during the media cycle. That's because I would pick her to beat anyone in that division.
Right
now, I don't know what she wants though. You know.
All right, I got Jandiroba by decision. How are you going?
I have to tell you, BC, you have been very convincing on this one. I will listen to you. I think that your points are pretty good, and I'll ride the same position.
Chuck, you riding this train?
I think it's Jandiroba. I just think that, like, for what we talked about, like, she has shown that she's ready for this moment, you know.
Come on, ride the train.
Yeah.
Osborne, choo-choo. You know what I mean?
Just take some time.
Hey, everyone, I got something to tell you about Total Wireless. Total Wireless is hooking you up with the ultimate fan experience. I don't think you're ready for this. One lucky winner will score round-trip tickets for 2 to New York City. Hotel stay for 3 nights. VIP access to the UFC ceremonial weigh-in. Lower bowl seats inside of Madison Square Garden for UFC 322. Tickets to the Giants-Packers NFL game. A brand new Motorola Razr 2025. Maybe they'll add in $1,000 of spending cash as well. Don't miss out. Enter at any Total Wireless store from September 25th to October 26th. Time is running low. Head on over right now. This is the ultimate fan giveaway. More interesting fights on this main card. We'll go to the bantamweight division. Umar Nurmagomedov lost despite being the betting favorite his title fight against Merab Dvalishvili in January at UFC 311. But as he told me this week, he said, look, I didn't gas out against Merab. I broke my left hand, and he said there's science behind this. It sends adrenaline to that part of your body. It pulls from your gas tank. He says, look, I think I won that fight, but that wasn't the best of me. He believes if he gets past a streaking Mario Bautista, who's riding an 8-fight win streak on Saturday, that he will get that second chance at the winner of Merab versus Petr Yan in December. The odds makers overwhelmingly agree with that. Long Island Luke, can you read this for us right now, please?
It's minus 625 Umar plus
Jesus.
455 Bautista.
So I thought I was going to be talking more about Umar
way
here.
wilder
but
than I
first and
thought.
foremost, why the disrespect this grand to Mario Bautista?
I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here in front and say I'm picking Bautista to win. I'm picking Umar to win. I think
damn right you
probably
are.
all of us are. I thought Umar was giving.
Spoiler alert. Come
Yeah,
on,
well,
man.
I mean, didn't you feel like for for long stretches of the fight, particularly early, I thought Umar was giving Merab real problems.
yes.
He's the only one that can beat him in this division.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. So I'm not about to sit here and pick Bautista. However, Bautista is I've been saying this for a while. He's a very good fighter. He is hard to look good against. That is one of the problems. And sometimes, BC, he's got one of these labor-intensive styles that is good for winning rounds, but doesn't tend to move the fight as further along as you want. So he doesn't necessarily win himself some fans. The Jose Aldo fight looks good on the resume, but then it tarnished his reputation because of how
Patchy Mix. He blew.
I was going to say
though.
he may have broke Patchy Mix.
I mean, he did a number on Patchy Mix as well. Dude, the guy can fight. He is very well schooled. He has tons of energy. He's well-rounded, but he's limited relative to Umar in my estimation. So I sort of get the odds in the sense that it's like no one actually thinks Bautista can win, but the odds don't reflect, I think, how good Bautista is,
agree.
at least making Umar work for it, who I suspect this fight will go the distance too, by the way. So I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. Umar did tell me that he doesn't plan to go for it in this fight. He doesn't plan to put himself in a bad spot. He plans to focus on grappling and submission to get him out of there. That's interesting. Do you think how big do you think the advantage on the ground for Umar would be? How good is Bautista's
Pretty
wrestling?
big, because Umar doesn't see, I remember him saying like he hasn't seen Bautista try a single takedown. Like he was going on about this. So I think he looks at it like this guy doesn't want any part of the ground, and obviously this is where Nurmagomedov will shine. So I think he looks at it like if he's going to have a chance, it's probably going to be in the standing realm. And Umar is just probably not going to play that game. So I find it interesting that the line is that big. If you really look at Umar's resume, like he only had a few fights in the UFC. The biggest fight he had was the ABC card out in Abu Dhabi, where he fought Corey Sandhagen, and obviously he did work against Corey Sandhagen. But before then, this is probably the best opponent he's faced outside of Merab, right? Like this is outside of Merab and Sandhagen. This is the guy.
You're saying we're grading on name and reputation.
Yeah.
And
So in a weird way,
and
I'm like, there's still a little bit of a trial here. Era, like where you're like, and I agree with everything you're saying. We saw him against Merab. I thought he held his own. It was a very close fight. Like he's the one guy who throws doubt, I think, into like if you're going to have a rematch, that would be the one to have. But there's a little bit of like I haven't seen enough of Umar in the division, and I've seen a lot of Bautista, and I know what he does well. So I feel like that line is just kind of skewed.
Yeah,
like,
I'll also say this. I mean, usually if you have someone who's like a minus 600 favorite, you're like, well, dude, if him beating his opponent means nothing. Sorry. Beating Mario Bautista is a quality win. If Umar stops him, this guy's on an 8-fight win streak at 135 pounds with some very good names on there. If you stop Bautista, that's a very quality win. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not expecting that. I do think it will go the distance. I'm just sort of pointing out the odds. They sort of make sense, but they sort of don't.
Look, this is not an anti-Merab rant. A healthy Umar, I think, is the only person that beats him, and I think he does beat him. We got to see it. He's got to win this fight first. Merab's going to have to get by Petr Yan, which is
your
not
guy
an
for
easy
so long.
fight.
You've given up on him, huh?
But I love Petr Yan.
You do.
I don't know if he can do this in a rematch, although he's going to be fully healthy, apparently. But
one time.
I mean, Long Island, look, I'm not crazy. Umar might be one of the 10 best fighters in the world right now.
Yeah, as I think Luke said earlier, like Umar is the second best guy in this division for sure. I got to disagree with you. Merab takes the rematch. Let's go.
Oh
yeah.
wow, that's a Long Island heavily based take, isn't it?
When I talked to Umar, you talked to him this week. He basically was like,
Did you talk to Umar?
I talked to Umar too, and he was like, he leans in, he's like, the secret to beating Merab, you got to take him down. Like he just like he's been thinking about this. The piece I wrote, I was like, he is center in his being right now. Like that's his focus is on Bautista, but his whole mind is on getting that fight back. So
but it's
I
interesting
feel like
how humble he is. Then when you talk to his brother Usman in the PFL, he's just like cocky, trash talk and everything. Yeah. But maybe Umar is going to be the best of them all in this family. You never know.
One time walking in the New York. Remember this? We're going to ride the roller coaster.
You got lice?
We're going to, yes. Well, that's just a given when you stay there. We were walking through the casino, and you ran into memory. Chuck, it's Petr Yan. And you're like, and I'm going to introduce him.
He wanted nothing to do with us.
He was looking at him like, who's the greatest?
And we made him take a picture with Brandon Wise of CBS Sports.
Yeah.
And Pierre Dion was just
Dude, this guy visited DC one time and tried his hey everybody, what's the deal with airplane food? Of course he bombed ritualistically, and then he's like, God, they don't like humor in DC. I'm
the service workers in DC are not friendly. I'm not
so sure about that.
It does explain Luke Thomas to a certain degree, although I've never been to Valdosta.
Connecticut, it works, baby. That's
people are nice in Connecticut,
right? They are nice over there. Yeah,
in Connecticut,
yeah.
I mean, they got nothing else.
They're well educated. They pay high gas
lice.
prices. Yeah, there you go.
How much is gas in Connecticut?
I actually paid $2.69 the other day, and it was like a world record. I can't believe I got it for that cheap.
How's that fucking? It's $5 a gallon in DC.
It's typically 3.5 to 4 in Connecticut. Right now is a low period, though.
Yeah.
Truck
and Naugatuck it might be, but not.
I don't live in Naugatuck anymore.
Naugatuck, you find the guys they'll suck the gas out from one tank and then put it in the other tank.
I cannot fight against these statements here. So we're all taking Umar here. We are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Again, I respect Bautista in ways that I know the fans kind of disrespect him, but I think he's a very good fighter.
I mean, over the course of a full fight, he'll find the way to wear him down. So I feel like that's the pick.
All right, Alexander Volkov had brought a 4-fight redemptive win streak into that December matchup against Ciryl Gane. Gane broke his foot in the first round. We all thought Volkov had won. Dana White thought Volkov won and said he'd take care of him. What that means is a matchup against Jailton Almeida that could be basically a #1 contender fight for the next title shot, even though Alexander Volkov is the betting underdog here against an Almeida who is 7-1 in the UFC. He did fall up. What was that one loss for Almeida? He fell apart. He got stopped. You remember that?
Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades, thank you. But really outside of that, he has looked great. What are the updated odds, Long Island Luke?
Plus 164 Volkov, minus 198 Almeida.
Now look, Volkov's kryptonite has been the ground game. But yet, like Curtis Blades took him down at will in their first fight and then gassed himself out doing that. There's something about Volkov where you feel like 36 years old, that means he's in the midst of his heavyweight prime. Inevitably, he's going to get to a title shot. He does have those skills. Whether he wins that or not depends on the opponent. There's still some slowness to his game. There's still problems in his game. But he's got the long hair right now, which is trying to tell me something here. I still feel like Volkov can get this done, even as an underdog. But Luke, Almeida's takedown game is pretty serious. Can he counteract that?
This fight actually kind of rules because Volkov should be in the title picture, but he's not. And we've been over this point. I watched some tape on Almeida in preparation for today's show. I forgot during that Spivak fight, he was kind of lighting him up on the feet. Now, it did have long stretches on the ground, both where he was dealing and then being dealt.
He doesn't commit to his striking enough, Jailton.
I think that might be right. I think there's an argument to be made that there's a little bit more he could be doing, except, Spivak also wanted to engage on the ground, so that kind of complicated it. But he looked a little more fluid. The problem is, though, you have to imagine, Almeida's path to winning rounds and, dare I say, the fight itself, probably does not lead through striking, right? He's going to have a hard time closing that distance. Volkov is slow. He's talented, but slow. Almeida
6'9" though, and he uses it. Like
he does. That's what I mean. Like if you're going to play this game, that's a tough game to play.
And he's not a lamb on the ground outside of that quick submission loss to Aspinall. He's pretty strong on the ground.
Yes, he is. If there's anything, he is rapidly improved. And steadily, maybe is a better way to put it, but certainly it's the ground game, as you indicated. Absolutely. Remember, Gane was trying some stuff underneath him and tried to that ankle lock and couldn't get shit going. That's not for nothing. There's something to be said for that. But BC, you just have to realistically imagine if you're Almeida, what is your path to victory? It has to be some kind of back exposure or top control. It has to be. And so the question is, like, for a guy like Volkov, BC, who is sturdy with some of this stuff and certainly much, and you would imagine he's going to be very aware of the threat. Can he do what Blades did, which is you get taken down, you get messed up, taken down, but you kind of just wait it out until he doesn't really have the same kind of zip and pop, and then you put it on him, and then he just completely falls to shit. It's a workable blueprint, I think.
When we talked about the argument earlier of whether the heavyweight championship will get devalued again if John Jones comes back against Poatan, does the fact that Volkov has lost twice to Gane and once dominantly to Aspinall play into the idea that he could get passed over for this or not?
I mean,
if he wins,
do we believe that Dana is like put it in his back pocket? It's like, I owe you one, man, because you got robbed. And do we believe this? Because then
I think
you're
you
looking
said one, not two, right? So yeah.
But I mean, we started this off. We went through scenarios as to what this means for the heavyweight division if Aspinall wins, all this stuff. We'd never even mentioned, really. We did mention Jailton Almeida as being a fresh blood because he's the only guy who hasn't lost already to Aspinall. But the guy that we're not actually mentioning is Volkov, right? If he's able to do the work and he goes in there and does it, it'd be very tough for the UFC to kind of push him aside as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is not going to be the sexiest matchup. Like, it's just the way it is. And Jailton Almeida, too, I was going to ask you guys, like, have we ever seen a guy in his position, maybe we have, but in the heavyweight division who's in that kind of position where he's kind of flirting with the title, one fight away perhaps, with less kind of, like, name brand? Because, I mean, honestly, like, I feel like if you mention his name to somebody who's kind of a casual fan, they might not even know him, you know?
Dude, I remember when Volkov got bodied in Bellator by Vitaly Minakov.
Yes, which was
Minakov was like
a
the
long
guy.
time ago.
A long ass time ago. And now where is he? Like, look at the difference. It's kind of insane. He's, to anyone who's been paying attention to MMA for 10 years or so, he's been around doing pretty relevant stuff, but he's never gone like, oh shit, wow, amazing.
He's lost the fight before the title fight like multiple times.
Multiple times.
The one against Derek Lewis, that he would have gotten a title shot out of that.
Yeah, remember that? Thing is, all the way he's winning the whole time.
The thing is, though, he keeps hammering. He keeps signing up for a chance at another crack at it. And you got to wonder, like, what point, maybe he won't break through all the way, but he will break through to a UFC title fight. You know, people who are perseverant, if you just keep asking, closed mouth
I
don't
think
get
he
fed.
gets out of this. I think he gets himself to the title level with a win here. It's not going to be easy, tough fight. But if Almeida tries to strike for strike with him, I think it could be a problem here. With that long jab, I think he's going to have some
I agree
issues.
with that 100%. But
that
I
jab,
also,
that push kick. Now, whether he uses the push kick on a guy who wants to take him down. But
I'd be
jab,
shocked. I'd be shocked if Almeida, like, played that game for long, you know?
Yeah, I think Almeida might, like, in transition for certain periods. But, dude, again, if you're Almeida, do you think you're going to win a striking battle with this guy? You're going to get chewed
you
to
might,
pieces.
because you just stopped Spivak. You might. Long Island Luke, betting-wise, you taking the plus money on Volkov?
Hell yeah, I got him at plus 200 too. I think I like the odds on that a lot more. He's plus 164 now. Don't love it as much, but yeah, if you can get him at like plus 175 or higher, I think it's worth it.
I have an update.
Oh, go.
I'm feeling these margaritas.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's almost time for a third Cuervo shot here. Let's talk about the opener of the main card. Alexander Rakic, trusted contender.
I love this fight.
Yet riding a 3-fight losing skid
it is a good
against
one,
elite competition, but is still 32 right in the, you know, we still haven't seen the best of him is what I'm trying to say, but he's facing an Azamat Murzakanov who is 15-0.
It's such a thankless
but
job.
Yet hasn't maybe fought the highest level yet. So Long Island, look, let's set the stage with the odds
Not his
here.
fault.
You want the odds?
Yeah, I do.
Minus 110. It's a pick 'em right now.
Wow.
Okay, so they are looking at this. How good, to start off, Chuck, is Murzakanov? How impressed are you by his performance?
I've been very impressed. I mean, he's undefeated, right? Like 15-0, and so far in the UFC, he's looked very good. I think most of his fights have been finishes. Look at the gentleman right here.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that this is the guy that you gotta. This is the litmus test, right? Like you get a guy like Rakic who came gun blazing out of the gate. I think he won like 5 or 6 of his first like 7 fights, and he was just on a roll. And remember the Jimmy Manuel when he was smoking those guys?
Head kick.
Yeah, Devin Clark. I remember he was knocking these guys out, and there was a moment where I was like, this guy, it's just a matter of time until he's fighting for a title. And obviously he's fought some really tough dudes, and he overcame some injuries and some time off. He's kind of in that weird situation, talking about Rakic, where it's like you're on a 3-fight skid. Either you're winning and you put yourself back into that spot, or you could be possibly on the ice flow, kind of leaving. You know,
dude,
it's like
he's
it's
way
crazy.
too good to lose 4 in a row and have his job security
It's a weird
question,
situation,
right? Way too good. So is it just
and coming into his prime, really too?
Is
like
it just
32,
injuries
so.
and facing better competition lately? Is
So
that
he
it?
changed teams. I think that was part of it. He was training out of Vienna, Austria, for a long time. Go ahead and do your shot.
Yeah, I was gonna. I was gonna throw this shot to Brian Caraway. He gets a bad rap for the ATV incident, but there are 2 sides to every story. You never know.
All right.
I mean, I'm not going to say I hope you die, but
Is he still dating Misha Tate? I don't even know.
is that what your dungarees look like after you're done peeing?
That's it?
You okay over there, bud?
We done?
Don't you go dying on me.
Luke.
This is the part when we used to do it up on the rooftop and you never got your fire where we take a walk down to the other side.
I love that. Until Luke pukes in the sink, we had a good run right there. Luke, Rakic, though, we know he's too good to be, I guess, in this spot.
No. I feel like this is real good matchmaking.
It is,
to be honest with you. Rakic, to your point, I mean, go back to UFC 300. He was dealing on Jiří Procházka early in that fight to the point where I was watching it with my friend Othello, And Othello was like, oh, he's beating the shit out of this guy. He's going to win. And I was like, just wait. Just wait. But you can understand someone watching that who didn't know the broader context being like, dude, this the guy who's doing the dealing is really good. As you mentioned, the Manawa one. And by the way, when he needed to wrestle fights to win rounds, he could do that as well.
Yes.
But he's definitely hit his ceiling, and he's definitely had some issues, I think, with defense. That's been a big part of his problem. And Murzakanov, man, here's the thing. He was supposed to fight Johnny Walker in his last contest, and that he got injured. Not Murzakanov, but Walker. So they threw in like a last-minute sub, Hibero, who he just demolished inside of a round.
Right.
Murzakanov is not the sort of hulking physical athlete that Rakic is, but go watch the way he moves. Fluid, quick, fast footwork, fast hands, combination. Southpaw, by the way. He's got so many things that for a guy who is probably a better overall athlete and certainly beaten better guys in Rakic, but BC, he's been off. He's had
1 year.
Bad knee injuries previously.
Mm-hmm.
He's changing teams. There's a lot of questions about where Rakic is, and Murzakanov is like chomping at the bit to get somebody like this.
Right.
He is. And when I said Rakic was too good for this moment, I didn't mean the opponent. I meant being on a 3-fight losing skid. But if you look at it, he's really lost 4 of 6 overall. And the wins were against an aging Anthony Smith and a Thiago Santos who left the promotion right after. So for as good as he looks,
he looked real good against Ciryl early.
He did.
And the Blachowicz loss was a knee injury as well. So
that Ozdemir loss too was like a very controversial
split decision. Yes. So
but against Ankalaev, who granted Ankalaev's good.
That was an aggressive big Ank in that fight.
Yes, it was, and I just felt like he had a good answer for the kinds of things that Rakic does. Is Murzakanov that same kind of force?
He's
I don't
36,
know.
by the way, Murzakanov.
Murzakanov.
Yeah.
But again, dude, he's got a certain kind of I mean, I'm not comparing him to Fedor, but Fedor had a certain kind of flow, an effortless flow and fluidity to his movement. And again, Murzakanov's not that, but he's got, relative to Rakic, a little bit more.
You think it delivers in that spot? Because obviously the UFC puts it on like it's the kickoff, right, of the UFC, of the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Usually they want like something that's going to deliver. You feel like that's the right choice for them? Like,
well, see, here's the thing. If you're Rakic, you might be looking for the takedown. He's done it in previous fights where he needed to win rounds and or fights. Murzakanov's biggest threat is not on the ground. It is absolutely on the feet, particularly at boxing, but kickboxing range too.
He's got knockout power.
He absolutely has knockout power. And again, even if it's not one punch, the fact that he throws in combination, bop, 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 that's when the problems begin to emerge. It's the 1-2, the 1-2-3. If you're Rakic, I suspect he's going to be hunting the takedown and top control. So to your point, does that deliver on the main event? Murzakanov is going to have to make it deliver.
That's a good point.
It's going to be
because Rakic might just need to get the win, right? Like the bottom line is he just needs a win.
If you're Rakic, dude, losing is absolutely not a fucking option.
Murzakanov knocked out Andre Muniz in Russia on the regional level. Did not know that.
Muniz a little bit of Count Donkula as well.
All right. Hey, by the way, this podcast is also presented by DraftKings, of course. The crown is yours. And when we are talking about putting your knowledge to the test, how about DraftKings Pick 6? You can download that app right now and use our code COMBAT with a K. Yes, that is COMBAT with a K. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. And when we're looking at the way that you play Pick 6, it's grabbing 2 or more stats. It's the more or the less when you look at how this card is going to break down. So let's go takedowns when we look back at this main card. Umar Nurmagomedov against Mario Bautista. 3.5 takedowns over 3 rounds. Chuck, more or less?
I think more. But it also that's a weird one because it depends on can Bautista just get up from whatever the first takedown is, right? Like, or like if there's just one in these
Umar
events.
has good top control, but not unstoppable. 3 total in the fight.
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 total in the fight is the more or
in a
less
3-round fight. So
I would take over.
I would go over as well. But what about Jailton Almeida? 1.5. 1.5 takedowns.
Now it's a 3-round fight. If it was a 5-round, different ball game.
I'm going more for days.
Yeah, I'd take the over.
That doesn't mean he holds him down. It doesn't mean,
just take that. That's it.
Yeah.
And by the way, never forget, I mean, Volkov's a little hard to do this on, but they count mat returns as takedowns in MMA. So it's a little bit, all you have to do is just get behind, pick him up, and return him to the mat, and they count that as a takedown.
Good point.
So we'll see.
And when we're talking about total significant strikes, this is a 5-round title bout. Mackenzie Dern, 61.5.
Well,
more
I like
or
how
less.
you put bite in that.
significant strikes, more or less
115.
61 and a half over 5 rounds.
How many?
61 and a half significant strikes. I'm going to take the less on that.
You know what? Hold on. Let me see that.
Yeah.
You said 61 and a half?
65 and a half is the more or less
65
line.
and a half.
Okay, let's see
I think
something.
she got close to 20 in each round of the first fight, so I feel like you got to take the over.
Okay,
there.
but Jandiroba said at 44 and a half. So they really believe that this will be a
Okay, so Dern averages 3.3 strikes landed per minute. So for 15 minutes, that'd be what, 45 plus some change there.
a lot though. It's a lot.
And they're saying, what's the over under?
61 and a half Dern.
So that would be
Sorry,
over the
61.
average for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the under on that.
I'll take the over on
You're going by
Jandiroba's.
3 rounds.
I would
though.
take the. That's what I
Oh,
was
you're
gonna-
right. It's 5.
Yeah.
I'm thinking what you are at 44 and a half for
Yeah.
Jandiroba. I'm taking the over there.
How silly of me. Okay, then I might take the over, yeah.
All right, your boy Rebunchki, you know,
Oh, Mateusz?
46 and a half significant
Bro,
strikes.
that motherfucker.
Go over for days.
He's like Cam. Who's the running back for the Giants? Cam Scatterbo?
Yeah,
What's his name?
Scatterbo.
I mean, my man, I hope he's got a good neurologist when his career's over, because the way he fights is just, or the way he
wild.
competes is just
Well, we'll have to
insane.
check back when his career's over in 2027. We'll see what's going on.
Wow. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. In Connecticut, must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Heck yeah. All right, fellas, let's look at the rest of the card below the main card. Prelims, early prelims. There's a buffet of decent to interesting options here. As of right now, it looks like the featured prelim will be lightweight Nasrat Hakparast against Quillian Sakil.
Oh my God,
What am I doing
fucking
here?
glasses.
What am I saying?
And Sal killed.
Are those real words?
He's an Aussie.
All right.
He's an Aussie. You got to speak Aussie if you're
Chuck, when you look at the undercard, you can go in any direction you want. What are you looking at?
I don't know. I don't have that in front of me, and I can't see that. But
The big ones are going to be Ikram Aliskerov taking on Park Jun-Yong. That's for
Iron
Aliskerov.
Turtle.
Aliskerov, much more skilled, but that one could be fun for as long as it lasts. As we've already indicated, Klein and Rombechki.
Hard
That
ass
should
spoons, yes.
deliver.
I mean, Rombechki's going to make Klein work for it. You know that super well. Walter Walker taking on Louis Sutherland. Again, this has got heavyweight fun written
Yes.
all
As
over
long
it.
as it's early, because if it goes past a round and a half,
At flyweight, Azat Maxim taking on Mitch Raposo I've been very impressed by Maxim.
Dude, how about Chris Barnett coming back at heavyweight? Let's
Yeah,
go.
I know the streets are very, very.
Yeah, he
the MMA
entertains.
streets are they love that
Chuck,
fight. I don't
you
care
were-
about that.
You were
fight.
telling me you were a huge Hamdi Abdel Wahab fan.
I've been a fan for a while. You know, I got a poster over my room, but this is a tough fight for him. So, who's he fighting?
Deep now, Chris Barnett. Chris Barnett.
Oh,
Luke-
that's the Barnett.
Luke,
okay.
what is Barnett's nickname?
Huggy Bear?
Huggy Bear, yeah.
And Beast
And
Boy. He's got
Beast
Oh, Beast Boy, that's right.
Oh, Beast Boy did. Yes,
I used
that's
to
right.
watch him on HD Net back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you guys had to guess who steals the headline, sorry for touching your
Okay,
half-drinking glass. Who
No, it's
ultimately, who
2/3.
wins UFC 321? Who steals the headlines? Who is the biggest?
Ooh,
The
let me think,
referees
maybe.
for doing a bad job.
Oh man, that's low hanging
I'm
fruit.
waiting. I'm just waiting.
Do you think we get David Shaw or Dana White after? Is this really what we're down to try to pick?
I
this?
think Dana has been in Saudi Arabia,
That's
so I think
right.
he'll be there.
He'll stay there for that.
Yeah.
But no, really, is this is Tom Aspinall's night, isn't it? Ultimately,
It's set up to be.
It
I
should
think
be.
it's set up to be that. If you take him out of the equation, because I mean that's obviously the big return and all this. What do you got there? Like after Aspinall, if you just take that fight out of the equation, who's the?
well, Vina is going to have a moment for
You think
herself.
so?
And I'm proud
Yeah,
of
the
that.
question, I think also Umar, if he really has a strong performance and
Yes.
then plays it up like Merab, I'm coming for you, that could
Yeah.
lead, I think, a
Yes.
lot of, because people want to see Merab tested, whether it's Volkov, not Volkov, but
I agree,
Volkanovski.
and that has grown so much, even from the first fight, because the fanfare of that was kind of mild. It was at the beginning of this year, and this guy has been on the sideline that whole time, while Merab is now breaking records for title defenses in that
and
same
that might
year.
catch up with him eventually.
Yeah.
When guys go on these stretches of a lot of fights in short periods of time, sometimes they max out their durability. They max out a few things in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't catch up with Merab. He seems. What are we seeing now? He's sparring 5 to 10 rounds the day of fights. 5 to 10 rounds?
Merab, I'm being serious when I say this. Merab is, in terms of durability and cardio, Merab is unlike any fighter I've ever covered.
I mean, even Poatan finally broke down.
100%.
Even
right?
Poatan broke
100%.
down.
Because who was the standard back in the day? Nick or Nate Diaz or something like that? You know,
there's nothing that compares to what he's doing right now. I was thinking about this because I did a column right afterwards, and you're like, I really don't know the equivalent to what he's doing.
there is none. I've never seen a guy like this.
Nothing compares, Chuck, to you.
Yeah. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a lovely timbre.
Yeah, you know, Luke has been very happy lately. And I'm really enjoying that.
I slept like shit.
Maybe it's
last
the tequila. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it actually. You know what? That tequila is money.
This mug is money, man. That is the
Long
that is
Island
shit
Luke,
right
will
there.
you be like live streaming your life this Saturday?
Hell yeah, dude. I'll be live for the full card. Also, prop quiz dropping Friday. Might go at MK time since we have no MK
Yes,
Friday.
who's
Right,
playing?
no MK,
Who's
right?
on this week?
I don't like giving away this early,
Okay.
Chuck. So
Why
sorry.
don't, but let me ask you a question.
It's like we asked him his social security
Who puts
number.
out a fight card
don't put
without
me on
saying what the
anymore.
main event is?
That's a fair point.
This isn't a fight card. This is prop quiz.
Okay, I'm using
but you're
analogies.
trying to-
No,
You're
I like to
building hype.
tease
You've
it
been
on
around
the
the fight.
Friday MK. Truth be told, I haven't recorded it yet. I don't want to jinx it.
okay.
That's a better explanation.
That is
you know?
okay.
Chuck, how do you feel about this setup?
Stoner paranoia right
Bro,
there.
You
That's trout.
You
That's
truly
trout.
are a Coloradan white dad. I mean,
that's
look
true.
at this motherfucker's.
You like that shit? Those are trout,
Are you
baby.
still rocking with
Some
Arnold,
of these
or
are
what?
native
You don't-
trout.
you don't
You've got
rock-
a
No, it broke. I had to switch. So now I
we
just
got
have
like a brook trout.
I got
lake
it's
trout.
magnetized, and I've got like a. You know,
There's
can-
a
Oh, yeah.
greenback.
Here, let me have yours. Let me have. I'll show
native
it to the
state
thing.
trout. You got
Now
like
this is better than the Kate Spade one.
Yeah, it is better than that. Yeah.
Got a little Jimmy there.
different
That's
speckled
pretty
trout.
cool,
Even some
actually.
sea-run speckled trout. We've got all the trout on there, man.
I don't care.
You know, the Blanco was flowing today, right?
Certainly,
You know?
I am absolutely. It's a good. I'm taking the train home.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
acting
yes.
responsibly.
Beat Virginia.
Need to
yeah.
act. I need to act
I
responsibly.
can't wait to. Right? Yeah.
I dated a girl who loved. That was that band Train.
Train. Yeah.
Meet Virginia. I'm like, why don't you get the fuck out of the car?
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
I don't wanna listen- I don't
All
wanna
right.
listen to this anymore.
Chuck, can you tell us a few things about your life? First and foremost,
Don't get
when
into
was
this.
the last time you actively lit a bong, Chuck?
Actively?
Yes.
Oh, God. It's been a little while. It has. It's been a little while. I don't know.
Pre or
Probably-
post Columbine?
Dude, what the fuck?
I'm looking at it, using it as a marker in time. I'm not. going
19.
to-
Why can't you just say
Wait, you mean-
1999?
1999. Yes. Well, it would be post
It
1999.
was a stressful time.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Been a
Having
long
problems
time,
at
though.
home, dude. We did Monday's MK, and you know how he does. Have you seen this shit?
Yes.
And I was like, who made this? Andrew Tate? Like the list? It was, dude. I'm not kidding. The first 15
He
my
videos.
God.
challenged me to like step
first-
it up, so I
Chuck,
thought I did.
Chuck, the first 15 videos were guys farting in their spouses' faces.
Yeah, but then that chick farted on that slice of pizza, and that kind of lessened.
And then she ate it.
Yeah, it did happen. That
Oh,
did. All right, Chuck. Seen any?
he's on point tonight.
Chuck, seen any good concerts lately?
Concerts. Not too many, but I saw. You know who Houndmouth is? I saw,
No.
yeah.
Why the fuck would we know that?
What about Dying Fetus? Like, have you know that band, right?
I do know Dying
Okay,
Fetus, yes.
because yeah,
They played in
I
North
didn't see
Dakota
them.
last night.
Yeah, so yeah, I
I
didn't
bought
see that one.
tickets. I bought concert tickets this week.
To see?
Cattle Decapitation.
Oh my God!
Wait, now where do they stack up against the
Dude, Cattle is one of my favorite fucking bands.
Okay.
They're awesome.
He called them cattle.
Cattle?
Chuck,
What's crazy is they probably know him and they want him backstage.
Dude,
Probably
Cattle,
they're
Cattle
probably-
Decapitation better than Goat Whore. A better band
Chuck,
than Goat
who have
Whore.
you seen at Red Rocks?
Oh, that's a good question.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Damn.
Oh, shit. Are you
Mid
serious?
90s?
Yeah. That's the last time I was there was
On
in
the
the 90s.
on the damn core tour?
Yeah, I've seen some. I've only been there a handful of times. What was the other one? It was Stone Temple Pilots.
I saw in 2000 at the HF
Saw-
Festival Stone Temple Pilots and Rage Against the Machine.
That's not bad at all.
The opener was Cypress Hill and Deftones.
Okay, that's
Oh my
a
God,
good night
man.
out at the
That's a
concert.
great one.
Who else did you see there, Chuck? You're having problems.
Yeah, I don't
pulling.
remember. Well, I mean, I used to write about music back in the day, so I saw so many
who did
bands
you see?
that
Give
they
us a
start
big
to run
moment.
together. It's almost like we were talking about podcast brain earlier. Like
Yeah.
they start to all run
All right,
together.
give me a
at some
big
point.
moment. Give me a memorable night out at the concert. Give me a venue and band where you're just like, that was the fucking
I
night.
saw. I mean, I've seen some really good ones. I saw like the Cult one time at the Viper Room when there was probably 50 people in
that's
this room.
pretty badass.
Seeks Sanctuary. Is that the cult?
Yes.
Dana was there. No, he wasn't there, but that's his band. I've seen when I lived in Los Angeles, you get invited to these kind of more exclusive, small room, big band type shows.
Yeah.
I mean, and those were always fun, man.
You ever hit an Eyes Wide Shut party afterwards? Pantsless?
I mean, I wore pants, but for a while.
Did it turn into a Scientology
Look
recruitment?
at this guy, man. Look at this guy. I was trying to purge my body.
I went to the Sphere with him and saw essentially the remnants of the Grateful Dead.
He saw a few songs, yeah.
Well, I gotta say,
that's pretty damn cool experience. I saw U2. I'm not a big U2 fan, but I did see U2 during their stint there. It's an experience to go there and check it out.
I saw U2 at MSG.
Yeah.
They were. I like U2 like anybody else.
Yeah, I mean they're
my
wife
likable, loves U2,
yes.
so we went to go see. But dude, I gotta say, if you haven't seen a show at the Sphere,
It's incredible.
I mean, I know everyone's like down on it because of the.
I mean, I don't know if Backstreet Boys is great there, but
okay,
I think
I would go.
No, but they've been doing some bands lately. I'm like,
but dude,
really?
can you imagine Metallica there or Tool there or something like that?
That would be so good.
It'd be insane.
Radiohead there would change my life.
I'm not gonna go see fucking Radiohead.
Chuck, you would.
If somebody gave me a ticket, I would go.
Chuck, do you have a favorite Radiohead album, or are we just too deep in the weeds right now?
It would be the Pablo Honey one, right? Like the
first one.
Yeah,
No.
because I mean, I don't like all their like.
What's the one with Karma Police is on?
That
OK
one's
Computer.
good. OK Computer is really good.
OK Computer's
Those would be the
album.
ones though.
Yes.
I don't really like some of their stuff.
You
down
didn't get
the
into
stretch.
Kid A or
Not really, not too much. No.
What's the next concert you're going to?
Unscheduled at the moment.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cattle decapitation.
Yeah, that's it.
Are they coming through?
They're going to Baltimore, so I have to go see them in Baltimore or Philly. I haven't,
I like how you'll go to Baltimore for like the
They
cattle.
don't come to DC anymore.
That's what I was gonna say though, but like I've heard you say some bad things about Baltimore in the day. Like
Well,
that's
listen,
the sacrifice
Baltimore
you'll
is
make.
it's got nice places to eat, but it's like the backside of my balls. You know what I'm saying?
Chuck,
So-
you've been, if you will, Chuck, will you? You've been a part of this show for 6+ years.
Is that right?
The entire existence of this show, you've been.
And yet I was watching your intro, and
an uncle to
I
us.
saw you wearing the wig, on
Yes.
the judge. The judge
It was
himself
that, what do you
wasn't
call
there.
the pubic wig? A
The
merkin.
merkin.
Yes.
I saw you wearing the merkin.
Great moment in documentary.
I forgot about this.
Chuck, are you surprised that this tower is still standing?
No, come on. I'm surprised it's not flourishing a little more. I mean, you guys have like now plateaued it somehow. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
but
do you?
But I always fully believed that this show was going places. So yeah.
All right, we just gonna sit here and
I
make
had
armpit fart
I
noises,
had
or
jet fuel theories, but I thought maybe we'll just.
Do you do
we'll
this
just,
to Jed?
you know.
I never stick around for the end of those shows. Does he do this for Jed?
yeah, but at that point he's usually hawking his ambulance chasing law service, so we have to kind of cut
We
him
will
off.
not have a show on Friday, but you can reach out to this great program at morningcombat@gmail.com for your fan subs, for your dead wrongs, or just to complain about our jokes. Thank you so much. Luke, will you be live streaming things this week?
Yes, definitely. We're gonna be doing a watch along. Probably for the full main card, but certainly for the top 3 fights, and then a post-fight show live.
Bam.
YouTube.com/Luke Thomas.
Yeah, there it is. That's the home for your great content. Chuck, where can we find more of your fantastic work these days?
Primarily at uncrowned.com. That's where I've got a bunch of features this week. We got Umar coming up. I've got something on Jandiroba.
Will you be on the crack?
I'll be on the crack on Friday. I'll be on the crack.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was pronounced crack. I think that's
crack,
hilarious.
What did you think it was?
I thought it literally was like crack,
Craik
and
or
it's
whatever.
like Celtic
It's not.
for like
No.
twisted ball bag or
That's
something.
like the Germans pronouncing it. The Irish pronounce it crack.
crack.
Yep.
I just found out about the crackheads.
Yeah.
I
Is that
didn't
what
know
they're
about
called?
that. That's brilliant.
That's what Pizzi calls them.
Crackheads?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, pretty cool. That's funny.
I hope you've told Pizzi you like him though, because for years
I've done it. I've done it several times. I fucking DM'd him.
All right.
I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
It's like Luke doesn't like me.
Oh, don't you have that big Moneyberg feature coming out this week?
Which one?
Moneyberg. Yeah.
No, that's not me.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Sorry
that
about
got me. That was a good one.
Yeah. Well,
That was a good
sometimes
one.
you slip one through, right? That's how a few marriages start. You know what I mean?
He's getting some airtime these days. Getting some airtime.
That's all the jokes we have for today. Really sorry if we offended anyone, but I hope we fired you up for UFC 321. Thank you to our
Columbine,
fantastic.
Jandiroba, just a few people.
All right.
Just a few people.
Thank you to Cuervo. Thank you to our fantastic sponsors, DraftKings Total Wireless as well. 321 is this Saturday. We'll be back on Monday, live and direct inside this studio to break it all down. Ken will be here, Luke, right? We love Ken.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Why is he in studio wearing a fur coat?
Always, all 4 seasons.
He would make a good
It's like this
mugshot. That's a good
this
mugshot.
coat is good for this studio
Yes.
and also Antarctica.
Yes, okay. For Long Island Luke, the great Chuck Mindenhall of Uncrowned and caps everywhere. And for Luke Thomas of DC, we'll be seeing you. Take care of yourselves. Believe in yourselves. We out of here.